ready for a lot of fun and excitement. Now, let's start.
Hey, welcome back for part 2 of our breakdown, our top 5 rookie contributors in fantasy, who we think is going to be fantasy gold.
Yep, good so far.
All right, so we're on my number 3, and I told you before the break that it was going to be a quarterback, and it was not Johnny Manziel.
Wow.
And I think it is Teddy Bridgewater's
Really?
time. I really like where he's at. I think he's going to be the starter there. I think Norv Turner went out for him, grabbed him. They jumped up. They like him. Works well with that kind of offense. He's got Cordell Patterson, Patterson. He is, last year, I tell you what, he was fantasy gold for me.
Right.
I picked him up off waivers. It worked out fantastic.
Played great.
Not to mention, they have the beast.
Yeah, they do. And
Adrian Peterson.
that's what scares me from that is that there's a lot of handing off going on there. And I'm just not sure that he's going to beat Matt Castle out.
Well, I tell you what, there is definitely a lot of handing off, but think about the packages where you can run with him. I mean, he can be a running quarterback. I know he's not necessarily a running quarterback, but he can be, and I think that just adds a whole nother dimension, especially, maybe not so much this year, but once they get indoors again.
Right. I'm just concerned about the, not throwing at the combine and throwing at the pro day and just dropping so much in value there, because at the beginning, before the combine came on, I mean, that's all anybody talked about was how Teddy Bridgewater was going to be the number 1 quarterback coming out. And then after those occurrences happen, now all of a sudden, Bortles was put above him, even Carr was put above him. There was a lot of thought there that he's not going to pan out as being a good pro. And I think when you go to a team that has a quarterback, I don't think Matt Castle's that bad. I don't see, I never penciled Matt Castle in as a second quarterback. He seems like a starter. A lot of these guys, that are starting, the Ryan Fitzpatricks and stuff, that you picture more as a second string. I don't know if Matt Castle is second string. I mean, is Bridgewater going to bring something to the table that Matt Castle can't?
You know what? I think he does. I think he gets the starting job. I think this was the guy they wanted. I really think they're going to keep one of those two guys up there between Castle and Ponder. One of them is going to get dealt. I think he ends up playing. I think he is in a pretty tough division.
Right.
Although I'm a little biased being a Detroit guy.
Yeah, of course.
But I do think that he's in a tough division, but I do think that he is going to get a lot of opportunity. And that's when it comes to, when I start talking fantasy and I start talking points, wins and losses is nothing for me.
No, that's right. That's right.
I want points.
In fact, you don't mind the team that's behind if you're taking a quarterback, right?
Very much so. And the thing about, you're looking at quarterbacks are going to get theirs. I mean, so you're looking for points. I mean, even a mediocre day for a quarterback is a pretty darn good day for a running back.
So let me ask you this. If you're in a 1 quarterback league and we're talking fantasy football, do you take him as your second quarterback or third? Where do you find the value there to take him? I mean, where does he drop to where you're going to get him?
Wow. I actually have him penciled in as a quarterback 2/3. It really depends. I mean, if he definitely has the start,
right,
I think I would take him as my
all right.
backup.
And in the 2 quarterback league we're in, do you take him as a 2 still there, or do you look more as a 3-4 in a 2 quarterback league?
You know what? That's a tough question. I think I got to go 2 established quarterbacks in that 2 quarterback league. I can't roll the dice and not have an established quarterback. That's the starting
for a
spot.
rookie. Right.
So, I definitely would go with the established guy, but I would pull him as my third.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Yep.
That flex week and that stuff like that, I would or that bye week, and I would definitely put him in as a flex, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I like him. I do really do. Let's go on to
year 2.
Number 2. I had the first running back taken, the latest that's ever happened in the NFL draft. I had Bishop Sankey.
I believe it's
Sankey.
Sankey. Bishop Sankey. Oh. Yeah, and I can't argue with this pick because I have him as number 1.
Oh, well, my 2-year one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'll tell you what I really felt is that this was the best possible situation he could have fallen to.
Right.
He's going into a situation where they just lost Chris Johnson. They don't have much in the way of running backs. They have.
Yeah, who's the one there?
Well, Jackie Battle.
And?
Of course, and then my nemesis.
Yeah, that's right.
Sean
yeah, that's right.
effing Green.
That's right.
I hate Sean Green.
Yeah, did not pan out well on the...
No, he's burned me many times in fantasy. Since
right.
we're on a fantasy conversation, he's burned me many times in fantasy.
And I think one of the big things in this situation, too, Bishop Sankey going there, is that Sean Green had knee surgery.
Yes,
he missed the OTAs, and I think that allows Sankey, who does so many things well.
Very versatile.
You know, he catches the ball, he runs the ball. I just think that, I think he has a very good chance of cracking the starting role.
Well, I tell you what, I put him at my number 2 because I seriously believe this. I would take him as an RB2. I would take him as my second running back.
Yep, I agree.
I believe that highly in the ceiling on where he's
That's
at.
right.
A lot of these picks, and I tell you what, a lot of fantasy in general is matchups.
Right.
It's opportunities and matchups. And that's what I'm looking at is he's going to have the opportunity.
Right.
And he's going to play some soft defenses throughout the year as well. So with all that considered, I like his whole situation.
And I do think he's going to start off coming in different little packages that they have for third downs, catches the ball well, and he's going to run the ball well. And I think after doing that for, a few games, I think you're going to see him get 18, 20, 22 touches a game.
I think he could be that Eddie Lacy from last year.
Right.
Does maybe even a Giovanni Bernard.
Right.
That he's that kind of build.
Yes.
So both those guys worked out well fantasy wise.
Yep.
I would have no problem drafting.
Yep. I have him in a single quarterback league. I have him 4th round.
Nice.
And I think that's a nice take for him. I think in a 2 quarterback league, he's going to be a little farther, of course, because you have to take quarterbacks. But in a single quarterback league, I have him round 4. And I think even in a keeper league, a dynasty league, I think it's not going to be a bad pickup.
No, I don't think he's going to hurt you
there.
at all. I don't think there's really any way he hurts you here. Unless for some reason maybe Jackie Battle or
something. That's right.
Step up.
That's right. Which you would love to see Sean Green step up.
Never going to happen. Garbage. Yeah,
not good.
All right, so we've covered, because we've already covered the other ones, we've covered my 5, we've covered your 5. Why don't you recap us? Give us your 5 to 1, please.
Let me run down your top 5. Number 1, Sammy Watkins, then Sankey, Bridgewater, Ebron, and Benjamin.
Correct,
and then my top 5, number 1, Sankey, Ebron, Odell Beckham, Watkins, and Manziel, which I find interesting because we have 3 that are identical. So we're going to put a little money on this. We're going to put something on this. And
we love to wager.
And I'm thinking, well, maybe not even cash, maybe a beverage or something, which, I might do a double bourbon and you might do a Patron or
love Patron.
One of your summer shandies.
Ooh, it is refreshing.
No, that is a refreshing beverage. I got to agree there. But what's interesting is that the 2 picks that we have different. You have Bridgewater, I have Manziel, so we both have 2 quarterbacks.
Yes.
And then you have Benjamin and I have Odell Beckham. So
correct.
The only 2 differences that we have here are quarterback and wide receiver.
Okay.
So those are going to be the 2 that are going to decide our wager.
All right. So we'll say at the end of the fantasy season,
right?
Those 2 total fantasy points combined versus your 2 fantasy points combined.
Correct.
And we're going to do it for we're going to do a shot of our favorite alcohol.
Yes, right. I will be getting a double bourbon. You will be getting a summer shandy.
Damn you, House. Yeah. I could taste the Patron.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. So we've got our top 5s picked.
Yep.
But you know what we missed out on here? Oh, yeah. It's sleeper time. We got a couple sleepers for you.
Yes, we do.
We
do have sleepers.
All right. So my first sleeper, I have 2.
Right. Of course you took 2, and we're supposed to have 1, of course.
I actually had 3, and I scratched one out. But I'm going to say it real quick. Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on. My first sleeper is Johnny Manziel. I think that if he gets the start, and
you mean when?
You're right. We talked about it. I think the millions and millions of fans are going to scream and scream, and he's a rock star, whatever.
Right.
But I think that it does have an outside chance of being something really big this year. Even though, again, they've come out and said that he's not the starter, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, too many Manziel jerseys being sold, too many season tickets being sold because of him. He's got to make the field early, I think.
I agree.
Pending a Browns 3-0, 4-0 start, which I'm guessing is probably not going to happen.
You are correct, sir. Right. You are correct. Yeah. All right, so my other sleeper, and then I'll get to see what you got. Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, Yep, I like that.
I tell you what, I think this kid is dynamite in a package here.
Yep.
This kid, going in there, he's taken over. You lost Lance Moore,
Right.
Lost Darren Sproles, who I think is one of the most valuable puzzle pieces of this whole chess game that you put together. But anyway, so going in there almost can play the same role between those two guys.
Correct. I like that.
He has a little bit bigger size than Sproles did, and he's able to catch. Darren Sproles catches very well, but able to catch a little bit better, but has that movement in space that is just amazing. So I think he is another toy for Drew Brees and that offense to really get down with.
I mean, you're not going to suffer being a wide receiver going to New Orleans.
Absolutely.
I mean, they like to sling the ball, and Drew Brees is one of the best. I just can't see where that's going to be a problem for him at all.
Absolutely. So I think he has great fantasy upside, especially a little bit later in the draft. If you can pick him up, that would be a real good pick. I think if you can get him as a wide receiver 3,
right,
and just sit on him if you can afford that, I think that'd be a great move.
Right. Yep.
What do you got for your sleepers?
Well, my sleeper's a little interesting because when we talked about the draft that was going on, I thought that the Houston Texans took Tom Savage, who was going to be my sleeper, a little bit high at pick 135. But I think as far as a sleeper goes, I mean, this guy's coming into a situation where they don't really have an established quarterback at all. And
excuse me, the man that's quarterbacking there got a 50 on the Wonderlic.
Yeah, 50. Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
You know how smart he is?
Yeah,
Ivy League.
Have you seen his stats? He couldn't succeed in Buffalo, and he's coming to Houston. I just don't see him as a starter. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is a great backup
so
guy.
Anyways, so week 1, was Savage starting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it'll be soon. If not week 1, it'll be soon after. And I think when I look at their offense, and they, of course, just drafted Clowney on defense. I think their defense is going to be a little better, has to be better than it was last year.
Oh, that's going to be nice.
But I think when you're looking at, he's going to be throwing at Andre Johnson, handing off to Arian Foster, and even Garrett Graham, their tight end, had a good year. I just think he's coming into a situation where there are a lot of offensive weapons on that team. I think he's going to have a good season.
Absolutely, and they're facing a couple defenses in Jacksonville and in New Orleans that I'm not really sure what they are right now.
Right. Right.
So they're not going to be somebody you're scared of.
That's right.
So, that you're right. That's not a bad situation at all.
And I'm thinking I took Manziel as my number 5 and then Savage as my sleeper. I could have very easily flip-flopped them. I mean, you took Manziel as your sleeper. I could have easily flip-flopped them, because I just think that Savage will be starting. I'm just not sure, he's going to be, the quarterback that they think he's going to be, but if he turns out okay, he's got the weapons to be really good.
No doubt. So, all in all, great class. We got a lot of potential going on, but that's all we got. When we're talking about fantasy football, that's all is potential. A lot of these, we won't be able to judge these guys for 2 or 3 years and see how things turn out. But I tell you what, from a fantasy perspective, I'm excited. I know you're excited.
Right. Love to talk fantasy football, and you know what I can't wait for?
What's that?
I can't wait till we get closer to the season and we start breaking it down by position.
Oh, we're gonna get. I will tell you what. Way we do that. We're gonna do the every position.
Every position.
Defense, we're gonna break them all down.
I've got my left tackle position already written in. I'm ready.
I tell you what. I went right guard.
Yeah, did you?
Well,
it's about time you went right guard.
Little stinky.
Yeah, that's right. I cannot wait.
All right, my main man House, it's been a pleasure breaking this down. My 1 through 5, your 1 through 5.
Yep.
A lot more fantasy talk to come. Please hit us up on the comments below. We want to know what you think. Give us your feedback. Let us know anything you want us to discuss, any teams, anything like that. We'd love to talk to you. Also at Derek Stone Show, on
Twitter. Yep, absolutely.
Tweet.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you next time, Derek Stone Show.